When looking at the Wikipedia page for traffic bottlenecks, you'll find a whole lot of stuff. I don't really understand any of the science behind it. If I'm being honest, it's a little boring. But up at the top of the page, something catches my eye. A bottleneck is a result of a specific physical condition, often the design of the road, badly timed traffic lights, or sharp curves. That's right, sometimes the reason traffic happens isn't the driver's fault, it's your fault. But what does a bad road design look like? Let's go to the Faroe Islands and find out. When looking at So let's say you have a plot of land and there's some really cool stuff. Maybe an amusement park or a big mall. Basically something that a lot of people will go to and is big. People could walk there, but remember this, walking is for losers. So you need roads. Big roads. Of course, not all traffic happens from small lanes, but in this case, with the big popular things, means having a big road with many lanes to get a bunch of people there efficiently and effectively. Because remember, walking is for losers. So that's all fine and dandy, but what about out here? Where there's nothing, or maybe just not a lot of stuff. And maybe this stuff is not very useful, or it just hasn't been given its full potential. Should we continue the road?
Yes.
Well, many factors go into road making. The main one everyone cares about is money. While traffic would never occur here, there would be a huge traffic jam in your mind wondering how you will pay for this road. So what to do? Your original big road has to go somewhere, and somehow it has to get cheaper to create and maintain as it gets further away. Oh! Transitioning from Highway 400 to Highway 69, the road thins out into a smaller one. This is because after leaving Perry Sound, there isn't anything big or monetarily powerful enough to warrant a 4-lane road until Sudbury, which is over 160 kilometers away. So of course having a fat road going that far for close to no reason is not what has been done. But there's a problem. With one lane going one way on a highway with trucks, trailers, and slow drivers, means passing is restricted to occasional passing lanes, which is pretty boring if you're in your hype-beast Mega Tonka car going slower than you thought was possible behind no-name brand SUV. This wouldn't be too big of a deal if when transitioning back to a 4-lane in Sudbury, you stay there for a while. But no! It goes right back to 2-lane once you leave. So regardless of the length from point A to point B, having a road that flip-flops will seem kind of silly.
But wait, aren't signs a big part of the road?
Well, yeah. With bottlenecks, there are a few signs that are commonly used to tell you what to do in these situations. Here they are. The first sign is a lane ending sign. It has a few other names and a few other variations, but the concept is the same. Basically, when the road becomes a bottleneck, the lane ends. You have to merge to the left, or at least or at least in some countries. The sign is usually a diamond shape, is yellow, and the pictograph is black. The drawing that they use is very simple and is pretty easy to understand as long as you're paying attention to what's going on the road, because you don't want to accidentally drive onto the shoulder, or worse, accidentally drive into a ditch. As I mentioned before with having to pass in passing lanes, this is a sign that indicates what they are. Basically, you'll see them every once in a while, and they'll appear on both the side you're on and the other side at opposite times. The sign is pretty easy to understand, but is very different from the one before. This one is a square shape usually, or a rectangle. The main color is black, and the road pictograph is white, with usually some arrows telling you where the passing lane is coming out. Passing lanes will come up for about 1 kilometer or 2, and then go away for a few kilometers before returning. The final major sign that you'll see relating to bottlenecks and revolving around them is the do not enter sign. Now you're probably wondering what this has to do with bottlenecks. Well, you won't necessarily see it on the bottleneck, but you'll see it when you're exiting it. See, when you're going into a 4-lane from a 2-lane, you're going to see this sign on the other side of you, on the opposite side. The reason it's there is because it doesn't want you going on that side. Why? Because when it's just a 2-lane, there is another option for passing. You just go off of the yellow line when it's dotted and just pass that way. This move is kind of risky though, because you never know when someone's going to be coming. That dotted line is not always there. The do not enter sign is basically just telling you that you can't do that anymore because there's too much traffic coming that way, and there's never going to be a dotted line. It will always be solid. The do not enter sign does not really need much explaining. It's just a red circle with a white bar in the middle, sometimes bearing the do not text at the top and enter text at the bottom. It's pretty epic. Okay. In conclusion, you're probably wondering why I care so much about this. This is a topic that's a little bit obscure, and is part of a subgenre that's even more obscure. Bottlenecks aren't talked about too much, especially the one that I like, that I'm interested in. But there's something interesting about it. Think about it this way. What would you feel safer on? A 4-lane or a 2-lane? Now I know you could come up with answers for feeling safer on the 2-lane, but think about it this way. It's night. There's no lights in your decently small car. Driving. Which would you feel safer with? What would you rather drive on? Of course, there are problems with 4-lane and 6-lane highways. There always will be. But one interesting thing is, there's a weird sense of comfort when you're on a 4-lane compared to a 2-lane. When you're maneuvering from a 2-lane all the way to a 4-lane, you just feel better. You got a bigger shoulder. Sometimes there'll be lampposts. You got more people on the road if you need help. It just feels more controlled. And sometimes that's not a good thing, but sometimes it's comforting. Sometimes it just feels nice. At the end of the day, Highway 69 will probably eventually be a 4-lane, and there will be downsides to it, but there will also be upsides. Thank you all for watching this video. I thank you for watching, and see you all next time, buddies. Catch you later. We'll be right back.